I thought I knew my daughter. 34 years of watching her grow, supporting every dream, funding every ambition. But when she called me an embarrassment to her new life and banned me from meeting my first grandchild, then had the audacity to send me a bill for $185,000 to cover her luxury birthing suite and the baby's first year expenses, I realized I'd been funding a monster I helped create. My name is Robert Mitchell. I'm 63 years old, and until 6 months ago, I believed I was building a legacy for my family. My wife Sarah died when our daughter Emily was just 8. Breast cancer. It was brutal and fast. I promised Sarah on her deathbed that Emily would want for nothing. I kept that promise, maybe too well. I worked double shifts as an ER physician for years. Every penny went into Emily's future. Private schools, summer camps in Switzerland, a BMW for her 16th birthday, pre-med at Duke, then medical school at Johns Hopkins. I paid every cent. No loans, no debt. Just a father keeping his promise to a dying wife. Emily graduated top of her class. My chest nearly burst with pride at her white coat ceremony. She looked so much like Sarah that day. Same determined eyes, same brilliant smile. She matched into a prestigious cardiology residency in Manhattan. Everything was perfect. Then she met Trevor. Trevor Hastings came from old Connecticut money, or so everyone thought. He worked in private equity, which seemed to mean a lot of expensive lunches and country club memberships. Emily was smitten. Within 6 months, they were engaged. Within a year, married. I paid for the wedding, of course. $140,000 for 300 guests at the Plaza Hotel. Emily said it was what Sarah would have wanted. After the wedding, things changed. Emily started calling less. When she did call, it was always brief. Busy with residency, Dad. I'll call you back. She never did. I'd text photos of the fishing trips I took, the garden I was building in retirement. One-word responses. Nice. Cool. Sometimes nothing at all. Then came the call that should have been the happiest moment of my life. Dad, I'm pregnant. I actually cried. Emily, that's wonderful. When can I visit? I'll book a flight tomorrow. We need to set up the nursery, and I have some of your mother's baby things in storage. Dad, stop. Her voice was ice cold. Trevor and I need to talk to you about expectations. Expectations. That word sat in my stomach like a stone. We're planning a very specific environment for our child, she continued. Trevor's family has certain standards, and we need to maintain a particular image. Your lifestyle doesn't really fit with what we're trying to build. I sat down, dizzy. My lifestyle? Emily, I'm your father. You're a retired small-town doctor who lives in a split level in Ohio, Dad. Trevor's colleagues, the people in our circle, they summer in the Hamptons. They have boxes at the Met. You wear fishing vests and drive a 12-year-old Volvo. It's embarrassing. The word hung in the air. Embarrassing. Are you saying I can't see my grandchild? I'm saying we need boundaries. This baby will be raised with certain advantages, certain connections. We can't have confusion about social standing. I couldn't breathe. I raised you. I gave you everything. And I'm grateful, Dad. Really. But that was then. This is different. Trevor and I are building something important here. She hung up. I sat in my kitchen for 2 hours, unable to move. The kitchen where I'd taught her to make pancakes, where we'd done homework together after Sarah died, where she'd told me she wanted to be a doctor, just like me. 3 weeks later, a FedEx envelope arrived. Inside was an invoice, itemized, professional, on Trevor's company letterhead, Statement of Parental Contribution, Baby Hastings. I read it 3 times before my brain could process what I was seeing. Luxury birthing suite at Lenox Hill Hospital, $45,000. Private maternity nurse, 8 weeks, $32,000. Designer nursery furnishings, $28,000. Baby's first-year organic meal service, $18,000. Newborn wardrobe, designer, $12,000. Professional newborn photography package, $8,000. Baby's trust fund, seed money, $30,000. Contingency expenses, $12,000. Total due, cent 80, 0. At the bottom, in Emily's handwriting, Dad, consider this your contribution since you won't be around anyway. We'll send updates when appropriate. Wire transfer details attached. Due before delivery, 8 weeks. E. Won't be around anyway. I read that line 20 times. Each time it felt like a new knife between my ribs. My hands shook as I picked up my phone. Emily answered on the 4th ring. Did you get it? She asked. Her tone casual, like she'd sent a birthday card. Emily, this is insane. $185,000? You banned me from my grandchild's life, but you want me to pay. It's not about want, Dad. It's about family obligation. You said you'd always support me. Well, this is support. Trevor's family is contributing significantly more, by the way. His parents are buying us a house in Westchester. $1 million to $2 million. We're just asking you to cover the baby basics. Basics? Emily, you're asking for more than most people make in 3 years. That's exactly my point, Dad. You don't understand the world we live in now. This is normal for our social circle. Trevor's college roommate just spent $200,000 on his baby's nursery. We're actually being conservative. You're a doctor, Emily. You have a 6-figure salary. I'm leaving my residency. The floor dropped out from under me. What? It's too stressful, and it doesn't align with the lifestyle we want. I'm going to be a full-time mother and develop my wellness brand. I've already got 15,000 Instagram followers. Trevor says with the baby content, I could hit 100,000 by the end of the year. That's influencer money, Dad. Real money. I couldn't speak. 15 years of education. $400,000 in tuition I'd paid. She was throwing it away to take pictures of her baby for Instagram. So you're quitting medicine to become an influencer, and you want me to pay for it. God, Dad, you make it sound so cheap. This is a legitimate career path. Do you know what sponsored posts pay? And with Trevor's connections, we'll have access to premium brands. This baby is going to open doors. This baby. Not my grandchild. Not even a name yet. Just this baby. A prop for Instagram. A business plan. I need to think about this, I said quietly. Don't think too long. The wire transfer needs to clear before the birth. We have vendors to pay. She hung up. I sat in my backyard that evening, watching the sun set over the garden I'd built with my own hands. Sarah's rose bushes were blooming. She'd loved roses. I wondered what she would think of Emily now. Would she blame me? Would she say I'd spoiled her, ruined her, turned her into this person who saw her own child as a business opportunity? I called my brother James that night. He's a criminal defense attorney in Chicago. Bobby, that's insane, he said, after I explained. You can't seriously be considering paying this. What choice do I have? She's my daughter. It's my grandchild. She banned you from the kid's life and then sent you a bill. That's not family. That's extortion. I need to think about it. No. You need to investigate it. Something doesn't add up here. Trevor Hastings, you said? From Connecticut? That's what Emily told me. Let me make some calls. Don't wire anything yet. 2 days later, James called back. Bobby, sit down. Trevor's family isn't rich. His father filed for bankruptcy 4 years ago. Lost everything in a bad real estate deal. Trevor works for a boutique investment firm that's basically a Ponzi scheme. The SEC is investigating them. He's drowning in debt. Owes $200,000 in personal loans, another $50,000 on credit cards. The old money thing is completely fake. My blood went cold. Emily doesn't know? Oh, she knows. I found her digital footprint. She quit her residency 8 months ago, Bobby. Not last week. 8 months ago. She's been lying to you. And get this, she's been taking out credit cards in her name and maxing them out. $35,000 in debt from designer purchases. The Instagram influencer thing? She bought her followers. Paid services. It's all fake. I felt sick. Why would she? They're broke, Bobby. They're desperate. That apartment they're renting in Manhattan? 3 months behind on rent. The landlord is filing eviction papers. They need your money to survive, and they're using the baby as leverage. My God. There's more. I found her social media posts, the private ones, not the public influencer stuff. She's planning to monetize the baby from day one. Brand partnerships, sponsored posts, affiliate links. She's already been reaching out to baby product companies promising authentic content with her child. She's selling access to your grandchild before it's even born. I couldn't breathe. This was my daughter, the little girl I'd rocked to sleep, the teenager who'd cried in my arms after her first heartbreak, the medical student who'd called me after her first successful diagnosis, voice shaking with pride. What had I done? What had I created? James, I need you to do something for me. Name it. I need a full investigation. Everything. Trevor's finances, Emily's debts, their plans. I need documentation of all of it. And I need it before that baby is born. You're not seriously planning to. I'm planning to meet my grandchild, one way or another. The next 6 weeks were the longest of my life. James hired a private investigator. The findings got worse every day. Trevor's private equity firm was under federal investigation. He was named in a lawsuit from elderly investors who'd lost their retirement savings. Emily had opened credit cards in both their names and maxed them all out. $73,000 in debt, mostly from designer clothes and restaurants. Trying to maintain an image for social media, the Instagram account was a carefully constructed lie. The 15,000 followers were purchased from click farms in Bangladesh. The luxury lifestyle photos were taken in rented spaces and borrowed clothes. The wellness brand was just a website template she'd never launched. They were planning to use the baby for something called gentle parenting content, apparently a lucrative niche. Emily had already been promised $10,000 from a baby formula company for authentic breastfeeding journey posts and $20,000 from a stroller brand for a year-long partnership. The baby wasn't due for 2 more weeks, and my daughter had already sold out her child's first year of life. I felt like I'd failed Sarah, failed Emily, failed myself. The investigator uncovered something else. Emily and Trevor had taken out a life insurance policy on me 6 months ago. $2 million. They'd forged my signature on the application, listing Emily as my healthcare proxy. The investigator found emails between them discussing how Dad's getting older and the money would solve everything. I called James, hands shaking. They're planning to kill me? I don't know if they'd go that far, but they're definitely fantasizing about it. The emails are disturbing. Trevor joked about fishing accidents. Emily laughed it off, but she didn't say no. Bobby, you need to protect yourself. Legally and physically. I made a decision. When Emily called the next week asking about the wire transfer, I was calm. I've been thinking, I said. You're right. I should contribute to my grandchild's life. I could hear the relief in her voice. Oh, Dad, I knew you'd come through. I'll send you the updated invoice. We added a few things. I'll do better than a wire transfer, I interrupted. I'll be there, at the birth, with a check. Silence. Then, Dad, we talked about this. You're not. $185,000, Emily, in person. That was the deal, wasn't it? Family contribution? I could hear her whispering to Trevor. Then, fine, but you can't stay long. And no photos. This is our moment. Of course, I said. I wouldn't dream of intruding. I hung up and called James. Set it up. I want CPS there. I want the fraud investigation unit. I want hospital security briefed. And I want a lawyer present when I get there. Bobby, are you sure about this? My grandchild deserves better than to be used as a cash machine before they even take their first breath. Sarah would never forgive me if I walked away. Emily went into labor on a Tuesday morning. I got the text at 6 a.m. It's happening. Lenox Hill, room 847. Bring the check. Bring the check. Like I was paying for pizza. I arrived at the hospital at 10 a.m. The luxury birthing suite was everything they'd described, more like a 5-star hotel than a hospital room. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. A chandelier. Hardwood floors. It probably cost more per night than most people's mortgages. Emily was in the bed, Trevor beside her, both looking exhausted but excited. They barely glanced at me when I walked in. Dad, Emily said, breathing through a contraction. Did you bring it? Where's the baby? Still cooking, Trevor said, forcing a laugh. Should be here in a few hours. The check? I pulled an envelope from my jacket. It's all here. But first, I have some questions. Emily's eyes narrowed. Dad, I'm in labor. Can we? How much debt are you in, Emily? Her face went white. Trevor stood up. Excuse me? $73,000 in credit card debt. $200,000 in personal loans Trevor can't pay back. 3 months behind on rent. The SEC investigation into Trevor's firm. Should I go on? Get out, Trevor said, his voice shaking. Get out right now. I'm not finished. The life insurance policy you took out on me? The forged signature? That's fraud. Federal fraud. Emily started crying. Dad, I can explain. The baby formula sponsorship. The stroller partnership. You've already sold your baby's first year to corporations, and they're not even born yet. That's just modern parenting, Dad. Everyone does it. Everyone doesn't commit fraud. Everyone doesn't forge insurance documents. Everyone doesn't plan to use their child as a product. A nurse knocked and entered. Behind her, 2 police officers. Behind them, a woman from Child Protective Services. Behind her, James and a hospital administrator. Trevor's face went gray. What is this? This, I said calmly, is an intervention. The next 2 hours were chaos. The police had arrest warrants for both of them, insurance fraud, identity theft, and securities fraud for Trevor's involvement in the Ponzi scheme. CPS had documentation of their plan to exploit the baby for commercial purposes, which gave grounds for immediate concern. Emily screamed at me between contractions, called me every name imaginable, said I'd ruined her life, destroyed her marriage, stolen her baby. I didn't steal anything, I said quietly. I'm trying to save that child from being a prop in your Instagram fantasy. The baby, a girl, was born at 4:37 p.m. 6 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. She had Sarah's eyes. Emily held her for 10 minutes before the CPS worker approached. Miss Hastings, given the circumstances, we need to discuss temporary custody arrangements. You can't take my baby, Emily sobbed. Dad, please, don't let them take my baby. The woman from CPS turned to me. Mr. Mitchell, given your relationship to the child and your clean background check, would you be willing to serve as temporary guardian while we sort through these legal issues? I looked at my daughter, 34 years old, sobbing, desperate. In handcuffs, they'd arrested her right there in the hospital bed, though they waited until after the birth. I thought about what Sarah would want. She'd want that baby protected. She'd want Emily to face consequences but have a chance at redemption. She'd want me to be strong enough to do the hard thing. Yes, I said. I'll take her. Emily's scream could probably be heard in New Jersey. That was 4 months ago. The legal proceedings have been brutal. Trevor's facing 10 years for the securities fraud. Emily got probation and mandatory counseling for the insurance fraud. The prosecutor took pity on her as a new mother who'd been manipulated by Trevor. I'm not sure I buy that, but I kept my mouth shut. The baby's name is Sarah. Emily didn't get a say in it. I named her after my wife during the emergency custody hearing. Little Sarah lives with me now in Ohio, in the split level Emily thought was so embarrassing. She sleeps in the nursery I built by hand, surrounded by the things her grandmother Sarah saved for her grandchildren. Emily calls once a week. Supervised calls, monitored by CPS. She's different now. Quieter. The Instagram account is deleted. She's working part-time at a clinic, trying to get back into medicine. Trevor's out of the picture. She filed for divorce 2 weeks after the arrest. Dad, she said during last week's call, I'm so sorry. I know. I don't expect you to forgive me. I know. Can I see her? In person? I looked at Sarah, asleep in my arms. She had my wife's smile, my daughter's eyes. A whole life ahead of her that wouldn't be sold to the highest bidder, wouldn't be used as currency, wouldn't be a business plan. Maybe, I said, when you've proven you're ready to be a mother instead of an influencer. Emily cried. I'll prove it. I swear, Dad. I'll spend the rest of my life proving it. That's exactly how long it'll take. I hung up and looked at little Sarah. She yawned, stretched, opened her eyes. She looked right at me with those knowing eyes, so much like her grandmother's. Your mom sent me a bill for $185,000, I told her. Wanted me to pay for you to be born, then never see you again. Called me an embarrassment. Thought I wasn't good enough for her new life. Sarah made a little noise, like she was listening. But here's what she didn't understand, I continued, rocking her gently. Family isn't about money. It's not about Instagram followers or Manhattan apartments or designer nurseries. It's about showing up. It's about doing the hard thing, even when it costs you everything. It's about protecting the people who can't protect themselves. I stood and carried her to the window. The garden was blooming again. Sarah's roses were everywhere. Your grandmother would have loved you so much, I whispered. And I promise you, little one, you'll grow up knowing that love isn't a transaction, that people aren't products, that family means something real. She fell asleep in my arms, safe and warm and free. My daughter tried to sell me access to my own grandchild. Instead, I gave that child something money can't buy, a chance to grow up knowing her worth isn't measured in likes, followers, or sponsored posts. Emily's currently working to regain custody. It'll take years. Maybe it should. Maybe she needs that time to remember who she was before Trevor, before Instagram, before she measured her value in other people's approval. I don't know if she'll ever truly understand what she did, but every night, when I put little Sarah to bed in her simple nursery in my embarrassing house, I know I did the right thing. Sometimes love means writing a check. Sometimes it means refusing to. And sometimes it means stepping in when the people you love become strangers and saving the innocent from becoming casualties of someone else's ambition. I'm 63 years old, raising my granddaughter alone, and I've never been less embarrassed about who I am.